not much in the kitty except a set of ivory-backed hairbrushes and my library of romantic poetry, but when the time comes, these will be yours, along with whatever we haven't already spent on whores and whiskey.
Good morning, it's me, Legal Vices. Now I have a microphone. Wow, just about forgot the most important part of the show, the microphone. But I have reasons. I think I just bent the microphone stand too. Cool, sweet. All right, hey, welcome. Let me adjust this here. Sorry, I knew there was something wrong when I couldn't hear the dog snoring on the floor in the background. All right. Hey, I am Legal Vices, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is you happen to be in this sunny, dark, cloudy, rainy, whatever it is, wherever you are, world. Right now, it is Monday morning, 11:05 in Korea, so you're probably wondering what the hell I'm doing here. It's a holiday here in Korea, one of the biggest holidays of the year, if not the biggest holiday, the Thanksgiving holiday. It's where you remember your ancestors and you do ancestor rites and things at the graves, and you eat certain special foods and whatnot. But so it's a day off. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and today Monday is off work, so I thought I would just hang out here for a couple of hours. Yeah, it was supposed to be kind of just a chill stream where we just sit around and talk, but now it's kind of become a hair of the dog that bit me stream. Without getting too morose and depressing, you may remember that a couple of weeks ago, a good friend, I mentioned that a good friend of mine had passed away from cancer, and did a shot for him. Well, I had another very good, very close friend died in a motorcycle accident yesterday. So we all the friends, we basically did what you should do under the circumstances. We got together and we got liquored up till pretty late at night. So yeah, now it's kind of a hair of the dog thing. We'll be taking the edge off. So I'll do the stream here, then I'll go do the funeral stuff I need to do, and then I'll come back for my normal night stream. Yeah, so it wasn't the greatest day yesterday, and may have overdone it a little bit. But just for the fact that I did overdo it yesterday, and the fact that this isn't what I have in mind. This isn't a drunk stream. This isn't a drinking stream. There's going to be no shots. Whatever you could give me a $1,000. Well, I guess you can't do $1,000 super chat. If you give me a $500 super chat, which is the limit, I still wouldn't do a shot of whiskey today. That would probably, well, if you gave me 500, maybe, but you know what I mean. This isn't a shot for a grift for shots thing. It's just a chill stream where I can check out what's going on here with all of you while we talk about whiskey. If you have any interest in whiskey whatsoever, whether you're a master whiskey drinker, a newbie, or someone who wants to know how you could possibly drink that stuff, or if you're interested in it and it seems a little bit harsh for you and you don't know what to. We can talk here. We can answer some of your whiskey questions while we sort of learn a little bit more about it, because this is Legal Vices. We don't just deal with the legal stuff. We deal with the vices side of it too. Not nearly enough, I think. But yeah, today I just wanted to talk a little bit about whiskey because it's a good thing. It's for me, and I don't know how it is for all of you here in the chat, but for a lot of people, the whiskey is either this poisonous, harsh tasting, burning liquid that you can't possibly swallow, or is something you just go to the bar and you just do shots of or mix with Coke. But for others, it's more of an experience. And it was for me, it was about 11 years ago, it became an experience. That's part of what we've got going on back there. That's part of the whiskey cabinet. So it's developed more into I want to say a lifestyle. That's kind of weird. More into an appreciation than just something to do to get drunk. But before we get going with that, just want to say hey to all the mods. We've got Rose here. I saw Steph. Steph is always here, lurking in the background. She's the lurking mod. Rose, we already mentioned you. You're great. Thanks for being here. Any other mods here hanging around in chat? Not yet this morning. That's cool. We've got our two female mods. We only have one guy mod. But hey, we got you guys here in the chat. What do we got? 89 of you here right now, so that's pretty good. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you like booze. If you like whiskey, hit that like button. If you want to like whiskey, hit the like button. If you are bored, or just hit the like button. That's all you got to do. It takes like a millisecond just to go click. So yeah, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And again, this is something that I keep having to say because of YouTube. If you are subscribed, just make sure you're still subscribed. I've talked to 4 people in the past 5 days that have said that YouTube unsubscribed them. Thanks, YouTube, for that. Well, with that out of the way, I mean, put in the comments just some of your comments, your initial feelings about whiskey. I mean, is it something you never do? Is it something you never drink? Is it something that my memberships? I have memberships too, by the way. If you want to do that, click the join button. Do you drink whiskey? Do you shoot whiskey? Do you drink it with Coke? Do you mix it with soda? How do you go about doing it, Alan? Hello. For me, I think Jack Daniels was probably the first whiskey I ever had. It's what it was. It was something you drank to A, look cool, or B, get drunk. Always Jack Cokes. And then it was Jameson came into my life. Jameson Irish whiskey came into my life. And I thought that was the most amazing whiskey ever because it was better than Jack Daniels. And I'm not talking about like the college stuff that you do, like tequila and Jägermeister and things. We're just purely whiskey. Diamonds and Hannah says whiskey smells gross, tastes like fire, poison, and death. Dang, Diamond, we're gonna convert you here today. Hey, Cool Frog, what's up? Yeah, a lot of people say this. A lot of people say this, and hopefully, if you're in that group, we'll have you changed by the end of the day. Cool Frog says he's gonna open his bottle of Jefferson. A Jefferson small batch, not the Jefferson's Ocean. Just Jefferson is cool. Jefferson, they have like their baseline of whiskey, and we'll maybe talk about this a little bit later. But how you store the whiskey, the temperatures, the conditions, everything atmospheric affects the flavor of the whiskey because it breathes in the wood. And Jefferson, they put a bunch of barrels of whiskey on ships and they just sail them around the world to get all these different temperatures and things. And so then they bottle it called Jefferson's Ocean. I never had it, but I want to try it. It sounds interesting. Well, what is whiskey? Whiskey is basically malted grain. You take your grain, you soak it, you let it almost germinate to just starts to sprout, and then you dry it, and then you put it in a big vat, and then you fill it full of water, let the yeast start growing, and then you distill it, and then you come out with whiskey. So at least 40%. It has to be at least 40% alcohol, 40% distilled grain mash. So that's just kind of basically what whiskey is. But you can play around with it with different things. There's big differences between Scotch and bourbon, for example. Bourbon is made from 51% corn. 51% they call it a mash bill, like your collection of grains. Bourbon has to be at least 51% corn and distilled in America. Scotch has to be, like, if it's a single malt Scotch, it has to be 100% barley. So there's just these different things that give it different flavor profiles. And you can have blended whiskeys and things that are from different distilleries. They mix them up. Let's see. Vicky T says, is it like 11 a.m.? Yes, it's 11 a.m. here. We're on a holiday. But how do you drink your whiskey? Everybody's always telling you have to drink whiskey this way. You have to drink whiskey that way. You have to do this. You have to mix it with that. You have to drink it straight. You have to drink it with ice. No, never put ice in it. You drink it neat. There's really only one rule of whiskey, or only one rule for drinking whiskey. The best whiskey is the whiskey you like to drink the way you like to drink it. Don't ever let anybody tell you you're drinking whiskey wrong, because you're not. You're drinking it how you want. There may be better ways to drink in other people's opinion, but that's something you have to come to by yourself. And there's a couple of things that I wanted to do today. Basically start out telling you how I taste whiskey. How do I go about doing it and why? And then we'll break out a bottle of Elijah Craig small batch. And we'll just kind of do a tasting, how I would normally do a tasting. If you've seen the couple of tasting videos I put out and stuff. They call me Rose. So I thought he said you have to drink it with eyes. Actually, that's not too far from the truth. I mean, you have to use all of your senses when you're drinking something for the pleasure of drinking it. Your eyes are important. If whiskey was blue, I don't think a lot of people would pay much attention to it. You get that nice, beautiful caramel color, a light color. Like, for example, I mean, Ardbeg is really, really light in color, but the colors, they also make the impression. Hey, Go Away says, drink whiskey however the hell you like to drink it. Exactly. Whiskey isn't for my palate, but I love learning about things. Well, maybe we can make it about your palate. To me, it seems like the people. I mean, there are people that are allergic to whiskey, or allergic to alcohol. There's people that are super hypersensitive. I have a friend that she can drink half a glass of wine and she is lit. But absent things like that, the people I found that don't like whiskey have had really, really bad experiences with whiskey. Either just getting horaciously drunk, hellaciously drunk, horrifically drunk, is now horaciously drunk. They have these really bad experiences in college or whatnot, where they just overdo it and they get super, super sick and they never want to touch it again. I kind of got that way with tequila, where I didn't want to drink tequila for about 10 years because of one Valentine's Day shortly after my marriage came to a screeching halt. That was a pretty epic day. But yeah, I think people don't like it. This is just me. A lot of people, I'll say most that I've met anyway, don't like it because of a bad experience they've had. Well, how did I get to this point? How did I become Legal Vices? Ms. Amanda says, I'm a rum girl. Johnny Depp approves of my message. I like a really good rum too. It's a good Cuban rum, something like that. I like the dark rums more than I like the, Bacardi type stuff. But no, I like I said, it was Jack Daniels, Jameson, and Glenfiddich were the whiskeys I drank, and I just drank them to be drinking them. And then I had a trip to China I had to go on, and they were selling a bottle of Glenmorangie La Santa, which is a sherry cask finish whiskey, where they take the Scotch, they age the Scotch, and then the last couple of years they'll put it in like sherry wine barrels, so the wine gets kind of infused with the sherry wine flavor. They were on sale in the duty-free shop, and so I said, well, what the hell, it's cheap, I've never tasted it before, let's get it. So we got on the plane, went to China, and the appointment I had, they had canceled it the day I arrived, and they'd rescheduled it for the next day. So I thought, well, I'm here in the hotel, I know nothing. I've never been anywhere. I know zero. I'll just see what the whiskey tastes like. And it was literally a life-changing experience. It was I can't even describe. It was like my eyes were open, sort of had this big epiphany, like, wow, this is what whiskey is. And that sort of started me going, wow, let's chase the flavors. Let's look for things. And that's led me to my borderline obsession here today. And that's one of the reasons why I chose Legal Vices as my channel name, because the vices of whiskey and cigars and pipes and sometimes watches. And then, of course, the legal side. And now you all get to be part of the Vice Squad, because that's how you roll and that's how I roll. Again, we'll start this thing now. We'll get the discussion underway. But again, this isn't a drunk stream. It's not a drink stream. Not shots for money. I'm going to be paying more attention to the chat today. It's just going to be a chill stream. Just ask you to like and subscribe if you still want to do super chats, whatever. I will never, ever, ever say no to that, but not necessary. And I hope I'll try to get your questions in here. If it's super chatted, of course I will. But I'll try to do it. I'm doing my best here on the chat. Patrick Winters says Hibiki Harmony. Right there next to the watch rinder. That's my Hibiki shelf right there. I've got a Yamazaki 12, a Hibiki Harmony, a Hibiki Harmony Master Select, and a Hibiki 17-year. So yeah, I'm with you on the Hibiki train. That is some good stuff. Really, really floral. But okay, what do I mean when I say floral? Well, first of all, again, you have to look at the whiskey, and we'll do this a little bit later. But I mean, you just look at the color. It's a beautiful caramel color. It's nice, transparent. And the thing with bourbon is you cannot add anything to it, or it's no longer bourbon. Like, yeah, that's just it. Whiskey, water in a bottle. You can add the water to proof it down from a really high percentage down to a lower percentage. But the first thing you want to do is look at it, enjoy it, and then pour it in your glass. What glass do you pour your whiskey in? It doesn't really matter. If I'm not going into it for an experience, I will just pour it into whatever happens to be nearest to me. But we all have the standard rocks glass. You throw the ice in, you throw the whiskey in, you throw the Jack Coke in, whatever. But if you're going to look for the notes, if you want to do a proper tasting, you need, I'll say the proper glass because that's what it is. This little buddy right here, it's a crystal glass. I don't think you can see it on cam, but it's made by the Glencairn company. It says, I can't really see it there, but it says on the bottom, it says the Glencairn. The Glencairn glass is made by it's a Scottish company, I believe, makes crystal glasses. And why would you do this? Hey, red Solo cups are great. Red Solo cup, that's my camping whiskey glasses right there. But why? Hey, let's talk about prepping. Welcome. Alan Tempest, the male mod has showed up. That's great. But what are the differences between these two glasses? Well, there's a similarity that they both hold whatever liquid you want to put in them. But the difference is obviously in the ends, in the opening. If you smell your whiskey here, it's just kind of going everywhere. Wow, Diamonds and Hannah, thank you so much for the big heart super sticker. I appreciate that. That's super nice of you. This glass here has a purpose. It's shaped like this for a reason. And in just a minute, we're going to see a video from the guy who helped design this glass. The Glencairn glass is specifically designed tulip shaped so that, you want to fill it up to about the middle of the bulb. Don't go bulb deep. You want to fill it up to about the middle of the bulb so that some of the aroma is gathered in the top of the bulb, and then it focuses the aroma out the smaller opening. So you can really get in there and get all of the different nosing notes without having a lot of it lost out to the side. So if you see people drinking out of these, don't think they're being frou-frou and being all posh and I'm drinking my. It's done for a reason. It's done to get the even as you drink it, it focuses the aroma into your nostrils while you're drinking it. So that's why a lot of people will use these glasses. Don't go to your local dive bar and start asking for these glasses because they probably won't know what a Glencairn is and they probably won't have it be. But if you go to a bar and they ask you if you want it in a Glencairn or Copita glass, you say yes. Mexican Vader said, bulb deep. I'm a grown man child. Yep, we all are. That's the in the whiskey community. That's the saying. It's like bulb deep. You never go bulb deep. Well, gosh. Again, once you pour the whiskey in and you start to smell it, it's not like the people. There's only a certain amount of aromas. There's only a certain amount of smells you're going to get out of whiskey. You can get a lot. Don't get me wrong. But when it's like, that smells like heather that was harvested on an early sunny Sunday morning in early April by a left-handed virgin. You're just being a fucking nitwit, really. You're just being an idiot. That's being pretentious. But I mean, you can get lots of things, cinnamon and vanilla and caramel and butter and floral things. You can get a lot, but if you get very much more descriptive, then it's. I'm trying to think of what like the limit. It would be like an overripe apricot, or something like that, or a sugar cookie with cinnamon on it. But if you start putting it smells like this on that, and doing this on a windy day on a Scottish coast, it's like, shut up, don't be so pretentious, just drink it. But for the first time you stick your nose in, you're just going to get a burn because you're not going to do it right. And let's look at the 2 quick videos on how to taste whiskey. They're both by the same guy, but he is a living legend. Well, I think he gives his CV here in one of these, but Richard Paterson, sorry. Batman. Robert Pattinson's Batman. Richard Paterson. God dang it. Richard Paterson has been a master blender for over 50 years now. His father was a master blender, and I believe his grandfather was a master blender too. But Richard Paterson, they call him the nose. A, because he has like a Ricada nose, and B, because he has this incredible ability to blend these whiskeys. And I know he blended like special bottles for the Queen and things like that. And some of the things he makes for Dalmore sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars a bottle. But the guy knows his shit, and we'll put him on here to how to drink whiskey. Like, which one are we going to do first? Yeah, we'll do like a sir. How to drink whiskey like a sir will be our first video, because he is Sir Richard Paterson. I believe he's a sir. But this is some good pointers, and the guy, he's great. He's great with his theatrics. All right, let me bring up Richard Paterson, and I do believe he's Sir Richard Paterson. Ooh, my monitor's flickering. I don't like that. All right. How to drink whiskey like a sir with Richard Paterson. This better not be copyrighted either. Well, it's copyrighted. It better not get copyright claimed.
So how do you taste blended Scotch whiskey? First of all, you need to use a glass, not just any glass, a copita nosing glass. You'll see,
this is an older video. Most master blenders will still use these copitas, but Richard Paterson, he was one of the guys that helped design this glass. So this glass was essentially designed by him.
from the shape of this one, it is quite different from this one. Because what you want to do, unlike this shape, you want to get into the whiskey to assess it. So what you must do is take the bottle, pour it into the glass, swirl it around, as I said to you before, throw it out. Because you...
That's one of his main sticks is, and he does it with some really, I've seen him do it with some really, really expensive things, like these 50-year-old whiskeys that are thousands of dollars a bottle, and he'll just swirl around and chuck it on the floor. Just, you can, there's other ways to clean out the glass, but they're not nearly as dramatic. That's his thing. Don't throw it on the floor. You don't even have to do that. Just, rinse it out with water and dry it off with a paper towel.
Swirl it around, as I said to you before, throw it out, because you want to get rid of any odors that are perhaps on the lip of the glass. Swirl it around, bring it up and say, hello. Then you go back to it. How are you? And then go back to it. Quite well. Thank you very much. Now remember, get into it. Don't go like this. None of this stuff. You want to get right into it to make sure that you're actually examining every part of that whiskey. How do you taste it? Don't knock it back like a cowboy. Take the water, but don't just pick up a jug like this. What you need to do is to pick up a jug with your finger in the water. Why? Because you want to test it. Why do you want to test it? Because many barmen, unfortunately, stick their jug under a hot tap by mistake, and therefore this is what ruins whiskey. 6 times I've now ruined my whiskey. 6 times. Twice in America, once in France, once in Stockholm, and twice in England. So you take the still water, you put it into the whiskey, reduce it down to 35% alcohol. 35% alcohol is the ideal strength for really bringing out the whiskey in the palate. Put in the mouth. And then let it go down. Absolutely fantastic. If in fact I hadn't added sufficient water, what would happen? This is what would happen. Your face would start grimacing. It would start changing because it was affecting the taste buds, anesthetizing them. So all you need is a little water. When I have a presentation, finish at night, want to relax, go into the bar, there's nothing more wonderful than the sound of whiskey being poured by the barman into a glass. And just when I'm about to take the glass from him to enjoy my whiskey, suddenly I hear this other noise. This other noise of not just 1 or 2 bits of ice, but many bits. This is now Scotch on the rocks. This is taking my whiskey, ruining it with all this ice. In the olden days, when there was no ice, the Scots had to improvise. So what did they do? They went to the riverbeds. They took the cold rocks that had been chilled by the mountain snows. They put that into the whiskey, and that chilled it. And that's why we call it Scotch on the rocks. All I'm saying to you is this. If you're ever in a bar and you want to try and enjoy your whiskey this way, don't take it. Take hold of the barman and show him what it's all about. Yeah, chuck it away. You don't need it. Now we're going to move on to the 22. Now,
that's the basic presentation that he does, and he knows more than all of us will ever. He's forgotten more than we will ever know. And then this last half, he goes and talks about some of the whiskeys that he's blended and whatnot. Is this the one with the lady? No, this isn't the one with the lady. He freaks this lady out by throwing this ancient whiskey out the window. There's another 3-minute presentation he does that I want to show. It covers the same ground, but it's got some different bits and pieces in it that I think are A, important, and B, kind of funny. But yeah, Richard Paterson is a character. If there's anything you ever do on YouTube, go deep dive his videos. We love us some Richard Paterson. Okay, this is the last. Okay, so the last one was how to drink whiskey like a boss. This is how to drink whiskey like a sir. See, this is a fun one. This is the lady he freaked out, throwing it on the floor and whatnot. But here we go.
so how do you taste blended Scotch whiskey? First of all, you need to use a glass.
What? Oh, damn it. Wrong video. That's the one we just watched. God dang it. Well, there's me. There you go. That's what I get. That was just the short version of the one I just showed. I'm going to do just a quick random search here and see if I can pull up the one video that I wanted where he talks about stirring and mixing whiskey. Yeah, it seems like a fun guy. He's a great guy, and he's an amazing speaker, and he has this amazing history. There's a video that Cigar Aficionado did an interview with him that is really, really in depth, and it's really, really fascinating. So if you search for Richard Paterson and Cigar Aficionado, it should bring up the video that I'm talking about. We want Richard Paterson. That is that it? Yeah, that's it. Okay. There's just so many how to drink whiskey with Richard Paterson videos out there. All right, yeah. I believe this is it. Yes, okay. Unboomer myself. Let's watch Richard Paterson. Bring it on up. And again, while I'm being a major boomer here, hit that like and subscribe, because why not? You know you want to. You know you want to do it. You know you want to hit that like button. Oh, maybe you can hear the dog snoring on the floor here. I swear to God, every time I say you can hear them snoring, they instantly stop. I know some of you have actually seen them, so you know I do have dogs. There we go. We are up here. The White & McKay brand training with Richard Paterson. Begins now.
Hi there. My name is Richard Paterson. I'm the master blender for White McKay, and I'd like to welcome all my friends from Heidemann. We're going to be doing a training session today on the White McKay brand. So how do you nose and appreciate great whiskey? First of all, you need to have the right glass. This is so important. This is, of course, the Capita nosing glass. So you need to make sure that the whiskey goes in the glass, swirl it around, get rid of it, because the glass has to be clean. Then you go back to it. Now, pay attention. This is the way you hold it, not this way. Definitely not warming it this way. But if I ever see you nosing it like this, I'll kill you. So first of all, what I want you to do, swirl the whiskey around, take it up and say, hello. Then you go back to it and say, how are you? Do it slowly. Then you come back and say, quite well. Thank you very much. So then how do you taste it? Well, you can drink it straight if you want, but you must be careful. Sometimes if you're not too sure, just take a little still water, cool still water. Little drop into the glass, not too much. But more importantly, when you take the whiskey, you must appreciate it. Hello there. By holding it long in the tongue, top of the palate, underneath the palate, and back in the middle again, you extract more of the flavors from this wonderful, wonderful whiskey. Take a big, deep breath, and that liquid gold just comes straight through at the end.
Liquid gold.
We're here today to talk about the Dalmore Single Highland Malt. We've got, of course,
yeah, we don't need to hear him talk about how his whiskeys are like uber expensive and the most delicious things. But yeah, that is Richard the Nose Paterson. He's a White & McKay master blender. Dalmore is part of he's been doing this for 50 years. His father and I believe his grandfather was doing it as well. So he knows what he's talking about. But let me walk you through how I do a tasting here. And I hope you enjoyed the videos. Yeah. Yeah. The Eva Bling says, I'll kill you. Damn, I wish this was a trainer video I had. Yeah, I do like his personality. And that last glass of whiskey you throw on the floor is about $500 bottle. So he has more money than me. But yeah, I love the way he presents it. He's a very good presenter, and he does a very good serious interview as well. So let's talk about bourbon. Oh, hey, Steph. Steph just says at Legal Vices. Hey, thanks. At you, Steph. All right. What is Elijah Craig? Elijah Craig. Here's another thing about whiskey. Pretty much anything you read about the history of a whiskey on the back of a bottle is marketing bullshit. It just is. It's stuff to, it's always the story of somebody that did something. But Elijah Craig was supposed to be the first person ever to make bourbon in America. It's demonstrably proven to be incorrect, but that's Elijah Craig's story, and they're sticking to it. It's just part of it's part of the folklore of their whiskey. And pretty much any folklore story on the back of any whiskey, Scotch, bourbon, Irish, whatever, is just that, folklore. They try to make things sound much better than they are, but Elijah Craig bourbon is a pretty decent bourbon, and it's what, $35 a bottle in America. It's like $100 here in Korea because the Korean alcohol tax is brutal. And from what I understand, like the prices in Korea are just about the same price as in Australia. Talking to my Australian friends, it seems like they have a crushing alcohol tax as well. That's based on the percentage of alcohol. This Elijah Craig small. Oh, well, first of all, what is bourbon? I mentioned that it was, I mean, there's a lot of rules, but the basic rules to be considered bourbon are, well, the biggest misconception, it does not have to be distilled in Kentucky to be bourbon. It can be distilled anywhere in the United States. Anywhere in the United States, bourbon can be made. Kentucky will just tell you it's better. Tennessee will tell you theirs is better. But anywhere in the United States, and it has to be made from at least 51% corn grain. The other grains are usually like barley, or you can make it sweet with like wheat, rye. Those are kind of the things that they mix in with the corn to change the flavor profile. But at least 51%. And let's see, what are some of the other? It have to be in new American oak casks. They have to be brand new oak barrels, American oak. You can toast the inside. You flame it up to get some of the caramel flavoring to come out of the wood, the sugars to come out of the wood. But they have to be brand new barrels. Brand new barrels, 51% corn, distilled anywhere in the United States, at least 40% alcohol. And there's an upper limit and things like the upper limit that it can be distilled at, then an upper limit to go into the barrels, but that's all really boring and I can't pull the numbers off the top of my head. So that's basically what makes bourbon. And you say, well, if so, it's not made in Kentucky, so it's bourbon. Yes. Now this one will start a fight. If you really want to start a fight in a bar, particularly in Tennessee, but generally any redneck bar anywhere, go in and tell them that Jack Daniel's, which calls themselves a Tennessee whiskey and does not use the word bourbon on their label, tell them Jack Daniel's is a bourbon, and you're probably going to start a fight. But spoiler alert, Jack Daniel's is a bourbon because it's distilled in America, it's put in new oak casks, and it's at least 51% corn, and it meets all of the other rules, regulations, and laws to be considered a bourbon. So it's a bourbon. And if you look at if you want to go into the lame legal side of things and look at Jack Daniel's public filings for their labeling, for their, all of the FCC, the advertising and whatnot, they all admit that they are a straight Kentucky bourbon. Well, not a Kentucky. God, I almost got started. I almost had to punch myself in the head. They are a straight bourbon whiskey. So yeah, Jack Daniel's admits they're bourbon. They just don't like to talk about it. No, that is incorrect. Jack Daniel's is filtered. No, a lot of whiskeys are filtered. Now they're charcoal filtered. They're still bourbons. The thing that makes it Tennessee, the thing that makes Jack Daniel's is a bourbon. It's like a Venn diagram where all bourbons are whiskey, but not all whiskey is bourbon. We take that down to the next circle, which would be not all bourbons. All Tennessee whiskey is bourbon. It's kind of not even true. Never mind. Basically, again, Jack Daniel's meets all of the legal requirements to be a bourbon. They just don't like to call themselves a bourbon. They want to say they're better than bourbon because they're made in Tennessee and they go through this charcoal filtering, but other charcoal filtering places call themselves bourbon, but it's a Tennessee pride thing. They're doing it. Vicky T is getting confused. Sorry. Corn, water, and nothing. Yeah. So Tennessee whiskey, Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey is bourbon. They just want to say it's better. It's like bourbon plus. And if you want to dig back through some old, their previous master blender, Jeff, can't think of his name, but he says, yes, we are a bourbon. He says, let's get that straight. Jack Daniel's is a bourbon, but we're better. So yeah, more than 51% corn to be bourbon, 51% plus corn. You can put rye, wheat, whatever else in there you want. some people play around with some really exotic grains, but it has to be grains. It's malted, and then you put it in water. You get the yeast going, then you distill it, and you put it in a new American oak barrel, and it has to be in the barrel for about a millisecond. There is no time requirements to be considered bourbon. If it goes into the barrel under the right conditions, it's bourbon. But there's things like bottled in bond. You'll hear these terms. That means it's at least 50% and it was stored for at least 4 years. I say there's all these rules that don't really matter if you just want to taste whiskey. And that's what we're going to do now. Jack Daniel's uses a sour mash, and a sour mash is like usually if you dump the water out of when you make the mash and you get the yeast ready and you start ready to do it, you dump it out and you can do whatever, feed it to cows, but they'll leave some in so it continues that flavor into the next batch. So that's what that does. But let's get into this. Open this bad boy here. This Elijah Craig. It is they call themselves the father of bourbon. This is 40% alcohol, 47% alcohol, so it's 94 proof. All right. Oh, that's such a nice sound. And the good thing about these Glencairn glasses is if you fill it right to the middle of the bulb, you are at exactly 1 ounce. It's almost like they meant to do that. So yeah, you fill it about halfway up the bulb. Now this is how I would taste a whiskey for the first time. If I've never Alan Tempest, is there 100% whiskey? No. The upper limit, I think, it's like 70 something percent, I think is the upper limit. What is the maximum ABV for bourbon? It cannot go into a barrel at above 62.5%. Okay. Yeah. So 62.5% is the maximum it can go into a barrel at. So they can distill it up to 160 proof, which is 80%. The proof is just twice the percentage. There's a reason for that, but not necessarily going into it. So it can be up to 80% alcohol when you distill it, but before you put it into the barrel, you have to add water to cut it down to at most 125 proof, which is what, 62.5. And it can't be lower than 80 proof or 40%. Now, when it goes into the barrel, as I said, the weather affects it. The weather will have a tremendous effect on the alcohol and how it develops and how the flavor changes, and it has a major impact on the alcohol percentage. Because as the wood expands and contracts with the heat and the humidity, it'll pull, depending on what the temperature is, if it's hot or if it's cold, it'll pull air out or water out first, or it will pull alcohol out first, because alcohol evaporates at a lower temperature than water. So if it's being pulled out into the wood, and when it's hot, it's going to be the water that evaporates. It's going to be the alcohol that evaporates first, and that will lower. It's fascinating how all of this works. So basically, it goes in at a maximum of 62.5%. But due to the changes while it ages, it can come out with a higher alcohol content than it went in with, because the water would have evaporated. And most barrels will lose about 3 to 5% of their volume every year just from evaporation. A lot of it's alcohol, a lot of it's water. And I think it was Cool Frogs yesterday. I was on his stream for a bit. He was drinking Angel's Envy, and the part of the whiskey that evaporates, they call it the angel share. It's like the angels came down and took that whiskey. It was so good that the angels took it. And that's the Angel's Envy whiskey. That's their marketing deal. They don't refer to the angel share as the part that's being gone. They refer to their bourbon as angels envy because the angels are envious that they couldn't take it. So, yeah. And with that, this is Elijah Craig small batch. And small batch just means a small amount that they distill at a time. But the Elijah Craig small amount is a fucking huge amount. So small batch really doesn't mean anything. And again, as Richard Paterson did, but if it's a high proof like this, he says to put the water in, and I would do that to a new whiskey last. Because if you put it in the beginning, you don't know what it originally tasted like coming out of the bottle. I like to taste it straight out of the bottle, especially if it's a higher proof thing. And if the higher the proof, the more alcohol, the higher the percentage of the alcohol, there's going to be more of an alcohol burn in the smell and the palate. So if you want to add the water to make it come down and get rid of that burn, that's the point that he's talking about. But right off the bat, the first thing you can smell is like brown sugar for me. And how do you know? And if you stick your nose into a high proof, high percentage alcohol whiskey like that, you're literally going to just burn out the inside of your nose, and it'll anesthetize it, and you won't smell anything for like 15 minutes. So if it's a high proof, high percentage, just kind of keep a little bit of away from it. And you can just smell the brown sugar and the caramel. And it's not like you have to train yourself to do this. Just familiarize yourself. And how I started doing it is I would literally close my eyes and I would smell it, and I would try to think what it reminded me of. Just one smell. You just smell something, and what does that remind me of? And just go back through your childhood, go back through your adulthood, and see if there's not something that scent latches onto, because our sense of smell is an incredibly powerful memory generator. And it's just brown sugar and caramel. There's a little bit of a flowery note in there too. And if you get something general, like it smells kind of flowery, then it's like, well, what kind of flower? What kind of a flower does it smell? Does it smell like roses? Does it smell like tulips? Does it smell? What does it smell like? If it's a fruit, dark fruit, what kind of a dark fruit? A plum, cherry. Just kind of play with it. See, like brown sugar, lots of caramel. Cherry is a very common thing to get in bourbon too, especially like Maker's Mark is really, really, really heavy on the cherry scent and the cherry flavors. Yeah, those would be the major flavors. You can get lots of underlying things, and then when you taste it, there's 2 points of tasting. There's the initial taste when it's in your mouth, and then there's the finish after you swallow it. That what's remaining in your mouth. And Q, that's what she said. Comments. Diablo Roja says, "Yeah, that's there you go." Let's. Well, before I taste this, let's hit the Prima Fasci's statement. I just can't seem to like whiskey. I had some outstanding whiskeys the other day, a 20-year-old and a special small cask run from a boutique distillery in Tasmania. Everyone was oohing and eyeing. I assume you weren't oohing and eyeing. You don't ooh and ah right from the beginning. But it's an acquired taste, I guess. But see, that's the thing. We'll talk about that after I take this first initial drink here. Yeah, clove and nutmeg is a very legit thing you get in bourbon. A lot of cinnamon. Not like fireball levels of cinnamon, but you can get like little notes of cinnamon. And it's good to do this. Just go through and smell. If you really want to be a nerd about it, smell a new whiskey, just nose it and smell it, and then go through like your spice cabinet and see if there's anything in there that reminds you of what you smelled in the whiskey. And be aware, like sugary things like candies and cookies are a big part of it, because the natural sugars in the whiskey and the natural sugars that are infused from the wood are really, really prominent. So there's a lot of these candy and cookie and sweets notes that come out. And then do the Richard Paterson thing. Now there's a saying that says you should keep the whiskey in your mouth for every year that it's aged. So a 12-year whiskey, you should swish it around your mouth for 12 years, for 12 seconds. But it's just basically just long enough to coat the inside of your mouth with everything. Don't just slam it back and swallow it. One, it'll burn your throat, and two, you have your taste buds are located on different parts of your tongue. So you need to coat the entire inside of your mouth so your tongue is completely coated with the whiskey so that the different parts of your tongue can pick up the different notes that they're designed to pick up. Cherry. Cherry was the first one. It's like ginger snap cookies. Caramel, big heavy caramel and vanilla. Bourbons have a lot of vanilla in them. And now the finish is coming in. Now, like the sides of the tongue are just picking up all of these dark fruit notes. I said, like cherries. Not really blueberries. Maybe like a blackberry. And I mean, it sounds weird if you've never experienced this. And it comes over time. I mean, your first goal is just to say, okay, I taste something other than burning fiery poison. I mean, it's that's your first goal, is just get over the holy crap, my mouth is on fire. What do I do? And then once you get past that, then you can start getting to, okay, that was something. I tasted something. I'm not sure what it was, but I tasted something. And then start to try to pick up on what it was. Like to go down memory lane. What did that taste like? What did that smell remind you of? Night Owl says, love whiskey. I was given a bottle of Japanese Hibiki Harmony whiskey for my 50th. This is helping me to know how to enjoy it. Oh, dang. We've had a couple of Hibiki Harmony mentions today. I wish I would have known that. We would have opened up one of my bottles of Hibiki back there. I said, I have a Harmony Master Select and a 17-year. Hibiki Harmony, if you want a great solid whiskey, any whiskey across the world, not necessarily bourbon, to start your whiskey journey, Hibiki Harmony is a great one. It's straight at 40%. It's 40% alcohol, so it's the lowest it can be. And it is really good. It's very, very floral. The barrels they put it in, I think some of them are like the Japanese Mizunara barrels. So it gives it these intense floral notes, almost perfumey. And then the taste is just, it's like flowers. It's so good. And for those of you that do drink Hibiki Harmony and eat sushi, instead of doing the horrific thing that you're never supposed to do and in dipping your sashimi into soy sauce, dip it in a little Hibiki Harmony. Sushi that has been dipped in Hibiki Harmony is ridiculously good. But now your palate, after having that first drink, your palate is in shock because of the alcohol burn. And then once it recovers, it's going to be used to it entering your mouth again. your mouth will be waiting for the next drops of whiskey, and you'll be able to better process it. Yeah, now you get much more pronounced vanilla and brown sugar notes from the bourbon. Max Murrah says, haro, you drinking cherry boy fruit tongue? This is family friendly channel. Thanks, Max. Go on, you're in Japan. It's noon in 1 minute. You can start drinking. Nobody will judge you. Max, I'm starting to think you're drinking already this morning. I think Regal Vices is fans of Japanese Kamizaki. All right, we're done with you today, Max. You make me laugh. Oh, God. Who is Elijah Craig that you're tasting? I thought you liked Vag. Thanks, critic. Yeah. I'm not tasting Elijah Craig. I'm tasting his juices. You degenerates. God, shame on you. Yes, and now that the second swallow has gone down, and the sides of the tongue are really just full on tasting caramel. It's just like you eat a little square of caramel, and then you swallow it, and then you just get that aftertaste of caramel. There's a lot of that going on. Slaggeter Fantabulous is, have you done a Scotch seminar? I'd love an excuse to splurge on an Islay. Well, this is interesting. There are different regions. Islay is an island in Scotland where they make a lot of the peaty, smoky whiskeys. And I'm a big fan of Islay. The first shelf and a half are Islay whiskeys. I do a lot of tastings here in Busan. Private tastings and things. I enjoy doing it. We might have to do that one of these times. Just kind of get like a budget whiskey that I think pretty much everybody has access to it, and we can do like a drink stream together. We can do a tasting together. I'll have to plan that for a couple of months down the road. But yeah, I'm a big Islay Scotch fan. That's one of the regions in Scotland. They have like the Islay Scotches, the Highlands, the Lowlands, Campbellton. It's broken up into different regions in Scotland. Ooh, yum. All right, Steph, are you keeping Max in line? Max is a bad boy. Max likes to be spanked. Oh, good. He hasn't said anything yet. Yes. keep Max in line. We like Max. Now we talked about the water, and I can't remember which one of you had mentioned was it Rose that said you just tasted fiery, poisonous death? That's the alcohol burn. And that's what Richard Paterson was saying. You want to add water to it. There's 3 reasons you want to add water to it. Well, if you add cold water, then that will, the coldness, essentially ice, when you put ice in, it does 2 things. It makes it cold, and the colder the whiskey is, the less intense the flavors are. So by putting ice in, you can mute a lot of the alcohol burn, but you also mute everything else in the whiskey. And then the ice melts, and then it just dilutes it, and you have a horrible watery mess. But if you take this with, and what did I say? It was 47.6, 46.7. Yes, 47%. It's 47%. And if you add just a few drops, I would say like half of a capful. Let's do the half of a capful here. Ooh, condensing. Just put like half of a cap of water. Well, it was kind of a. There we go. Now it's half of a cap. Drop that in, and it'll cool the whiskey very, very slightly because it's just a tiny amount. And mix it up. And again, these glasses have these little handles on the bottom to hold. So, Richard Paterson doesn't have to kill you for doing that, but just give it a little bit of a swirl. And if you look on the side, it's kind of the fun. It's like wine. It has legs. The oil is just clinging to the side in this ring all the way around. But adding the water will cool it off just a touch, but also it'll open up the flavors because the alcohol burn is muting, it's hiding a lot of these flavors. So if you take away the alcohol burn, then you start to open up these flavors that you didn't notice before. And if it still burns, add a little more water. Just drops. Don't just like turn the tap on or pour in half a glass of water. Just a few drops at a time. And you can do a little tiny taste and just a little sip on the end of your tongue to see if you still have a lot of alcohol burn. And if you do, just a couple drops of water more until it doesn't burn your mouth to have it there. And once it doesn't burn your mouth, then you can really, really enjoy these hidden flavors that have opened up. Well, let's see what that half a cap of water did to this glass. Mm. There's still a lot of alcohol burn on the end, but for the initial part, I'm trying to think of what that reminded me of. Cranberries. Yeah, like just like really dark, rich red fruits like cranberries, and again, now it's just cherries. Like all around the inside of my mouth, it just tastes like cherries. Mm. There was a dog snore. Let's talk about prepping. The water also actually bonds with the alcohol, making it more available for your taste buds to taste. Yeah, that's what I was referring to when I was saying it opens up the flavors. And it's now I get lots of like orange notes, orange and vanilla. And it's a good whiskey if you can still taste it 30 seconds or a minute after you've swallowed it. That's the fun thing to do, is just to sit back for a minute or two and just see how long this flavor remains in your mouth. And the longer it remains, some of the flavors will fade out and other flavors will come to the forefront. Mm. See, now kind of just like a doughy cookie, which is probably the yeast effect. But so good. So I mean, that's how you want to do these things. And if you have two different kinds of whiskey, do the same thing, but try them together. That helps as well too. So you have like a bourbon or a Japanese whiskey, or a bourbon and an Irish whiskey, or a Scotch, so that you can compare and you can see that there are actually different flavors. It shocks me when people will say all whiskey tastes the same. I mean, I know it doesn't, but to them it does. But I like those kind of friends, because when I have my friends over, I know that the certain friends will enjoy the $500, $600, $700 bottles of whiskey, and then the other friend, I can just give him the bottle of Jack Daniels or Jim Beam, and he's happy. So win-win for everybody. He doesn't have to act all frou-frou, and he doesn't waste my whiskey. Oh yeah. Exhaling. Exactly. Thanks for bringing that up. That's another good one. Let's get into how that's okay. That's raised a few things. First of all, we'll do the exhale through your mouth and your nose, mostly through your nose. Yeah, see, that was just like a vanilla cookie. It's like a vanilla wafer cookie just coming out your nose. I know that sounds horrible, but yeah, that smell just like a freshly baked like vanilla cookie. And also inhaling too is like after do a quick little, and that doing that's kind of open up a little bit of cinnamon and brown sugar flavors there. So thank you very much for mentioning that. Prepping, that was good. And some people, again, they'll smell and it's too much alcohol to smell. One thing you can do is just pour a couple of drops onto your hand. I mean, just literally just a couple of drops, just right into the palm of your hand. And then rub your hands together until it starts to dry out. And then just inhale in your hands. And you should still get the same, a lot of the same notes, not exactly the same, but that's one way of doing it. It's just kind of that method. You heat it up, you dry it out, and then you can smell some of the notes there without totally burning out your nose, if that's your thing. And I mean, that's kind of that was kind of the basics that I wanted to talk about today. And it was just kind of looking for a reason to start drinking in the morning. No. So when you see me doing my drunk streams and things, I'm not drinking really expensive whiskeys because I don't want to waste them, I guess is the good word. I just kind of use the mid to bottom shelf ones for my on-screen drinking because they're cheap and easily replaceable. And when I do my drunk streams, the super chats for drinks, I just use the absolute rot gut I have because it helps me get rid of it. So yeah, this was the first live tasting that I've done here on my YouTube channel. I've got a couple of other videos for previous whiskeys. I think I uploaded a couple during my vacation. I primed it so they would release while I was on vacation. I've done a one or two before that. But different whiskeys, again, have different flavor profiles. And as you learn more about them, you can deep dive into whiskey. And there's in just an incredible level. There's lots of documentaries out there on Hulu, Amazon, on YouTube about the making of whiskey and what goes into it, and more tasting things. And the Richard Paterson videos are always fascinating to watch. Turtle Dove asked, "Do you get hangovers, Jeff?" I never had a hangover until I was about 35 years old. Never. I mean, it didn't matter how much I drank. I just wouldn't get hangovers. Then right about my 35th birthday, went out drinking a lot, and I woke up the next morning and I kind of wanted to die. And that's when I thought, this is that hangover of which people speak. Yeah. So now first I normally don't drink to get drunk. I just want one or two glasses that I can sit and enjoy and talk with. But unintentionally, you can get intoxicated by having too much fun, or like the drink streams. Obviously, the point of those are to get drunk. Or like last night, I definitely went out with my friends intending to become intoxicated, and it worked. My primary problem is I forget to drink water. As those of you who have seen my drunk streams know, I forget to drink water. That's why I appreciate my mods reminding me to drink drink water while I'm doing it. But how do you guys deal with hangovers? For me, the greatest hangover food is cold pizza, pepperoni pizza, straight out of the refrigerator. So if I know I'm going to be on a bender, I will order like Papa John's or a Domino's pizza, and I'll just put it straight in the fridge, let it cool down, put it in the fridge, so it's there in the morning when I wake up and I know I'm going to be wanting that cold, greasy, oily meat and cheese. What are your hangover foods? I would be put them down there in the chat. I would be very, very, very interested to hear what you do, because I like trying people's hangover foods, even if I don't have a hangover. Some of them are pretty interesting. Cold pizza cures all, says Susan. Yes, it does. Best hangover food for me is a big egg sandwich with cheese and ham, says Toothless 420. All right. Mine is another drink, says Alan Tempest. Well, that's what we're doing today. Today is a hair of the dog stream. We are self-medicating this morning. Pickles. I never got into this weird pickle thing. I love pickles. A good crunchy dill pickle is just the bomb. But this pickleback stuff, take a shot of whiskey. And first of all, don't take a shot of whiskey. Seriously. Just even if, sex, nice Turtle Dove. Pickles and sex. Okay. What about pickle sex? Oh, a giant burrito. But yeah, I've never understood this. Take a shot of bad whiskey and then take a shot of pickle juice. Cole Roberts says you need to try a Caesar. What the hell is a Caesar? Okay, Cole Roberts, you got to tell me what a Caesar is because I just don't know. Salty fries. Hey, Church of Failure, how's it going? Greasy tacos. Oh, yeah. Bacon and egg roll. Alan Tempest, water, legal vices. Yeah, we're not getting drunk this morning. Oh, okay. Cole Roberts says it's a Canadian version of a Bloody Mary. I can't do Bloody Marys. I can't do it. See, and that's why right there. I like fresh tomato juice, like fresh squeezed tomato juice with just a little bit of sugar to kind of cut down the acidity. I don't like canned tomato juice, like V8 and things like it just tastes like drinking cold tomato soup to me. I can't do it. And I don't like clams. Baked, yeah. Raw clams, I can't do. The fact that someone would do something so horrific as put clam juice in tomato juice and call it Clamato and make people drink it is beyond me. That is absolutely just thinking about it makes me nauseous. Who wants clam flavored? Who wants tomato juice? Who wants clam juice? Certainly nobody could possibly want clam flavored tomato juice. Anyway, a lot of you love it. They sell it in the stores, so people must drink it, but I just can't. I have had 2 swallows of a Bloody Mary in my entire life, and it was just absolutely wretched to me. I don't know why, but yeah. So okay, sorry I asked. A couple of Max, we already did your comment. We don't need to bring that up again. Ms. Amanda, who knew we'd be sitting here tonight, getting taught how to drink whiskey? Yeah, well, I hope it was informative, and we can do some more of these. Get more in depth into it if you want, and taste other new whiskeys if you want. I'm totally cool with that. This was just something I have this free morning, so I thought I'd come on and say howdy for a bit. Turtle Dove, talking about drinking, as much a dietary decision for me, but I can say my behavior is so much better as our relationships and beliefs. I hope we were talking about the whiskey there. Some people just don't drink for whatever reason. You don't have to justify anything. He said, Alan says, Steph stopped 25 years ago because a week-long hangover from my stag night, nearly didn't get married, and still dying when I came home from my honeymoon. That's not a good way to start. that is a less than ideal start. We had one super chat here. Where'd they go? I missed I flashed past the super chat. Where are we? Here we are. AD, thank you so much for the only super chat today. You're awesome. Is a surety bond the same as a bail bond? The purpose is the same, but there is one big difference. A bail bond it involves 2 parties, you and the court. You pay the bail money with the court. So it's only between you. A surety bond is, I guess, what we would call, or people refer to bail bonds as bail bonds. They're actually surety bonds. The bail bond is a cash transaction involving you and the court. A surety bond is you, the court, and a bail agent or a bail bondsman. They call themselves bail bondsmen. They're actually surety bondsmen. So yeah, that's the difference. They serve the same purpose, which is to get your ass out of jail. But one you can make the cash deposit to the court. If they say you have a $10,000 bail, you can deposit $10,000 with the court and get out. You can bail yourself out by paying $10,000 cash into the court, which you get back if you show up for trial. Or you can go to a bail bondsman, and what the bail bondsman does is he puts up the money for you. The bail bondsman is on the hook for that $10,000. And for him being on the line for that $10,000 for you showing up into court, he is going to charge you usually 10%. So if you pay him $1,000 purchase price, non-refundable money, he will issue the surety bond for the court that says you're going to come back. If you come back, that's cool. The bond gets canceled. You don't get your $1,000 back because you paid him for the service of putting up this bond. If you don't show up for trial, the bail bondsman has a couple of options. He can pay the $10,000 that he owes the court, or he can get a bounty hunter to come looking for your ass. And they haul you in, dog the bounty hunter style. So that's kind of the difference between a bail bond and a surety bond. Hope that made sense. See, my problem is when I explain things, I usually explain them way more than I need to. And then it just confuses people when I'm trying to be specific. So I hope it helped. Let's talk about prepping. Thank you so much, buddy. Cheers, bud. Sipping some Talisker 10 along with you. My Talisker 10 is right behind there. It's that white bottle in the corner. That's my Talisker Sky, I believe, with my Talisker Storm, an Ardbeg Corey Vrecken, an Ardbeg 10, and an Ardbeg Oogiedahl over there. And that's the Bruichladdich shelf there. We got the 2 Port Charlotte bottles, 2 Octomore bottles, a Bruichladdich Black Art, and that's an Illick, I believe. I can't remember. But yeah, that's the whole top shelf and half the next shelf of my Islay Scotches. So yeah, smokier than a Scottish coast as you're waiting for your paw to come back from fishing as your fire is dying. Yeah. What was I going to say? I was going to say something really deep and profound. I can't remember. It's probably bullshit, but I was going to say something and I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, pairing. What do you eat? What do you eat? What do you pair with your whiskey? We'll get to that right after we answer Mortimer Duke. Thank you, Mortimer Duke, for the super chat. I'm like moving around a lot today. The reason why is I have a dog that is literally right under the desk next to the wheels of the chair and has pushed me off to the side, and he's kind of sprawled out where my feet need to be. So I'm sitting all wonky here in the chair. Stupid dog, and I can't move around him. All right. I know you're in Busan, but does the DPRK, that's North Korea, being so close ever freak you out? No, not at all. I mean, they're literally on the other end of the country. Yeah, I'm in the bottom. I'm like down here. This is Busan. Seoul is up here, and North Korea is just north of Seoul. I mean, maybe it would. I wouldn't live in the very, very small amount of real estate between Seoul and North Korea. Seoul is about 24, 25 miles from North Korea. So, that would probably freak me out a little bit. But being down here in Busan, nah, what I say about North Korea is the Kim family. It's what their third generation of rule now. They're crazy, but they're not stupid. There's a big difference between being crazy and stupid. They're crazy, but they know their power and they want to keep their power. So they're not going to do something stupid to lose it. So it doesn't bother me at all. And if they do start coming down across the border, I can just pay someone to put me on a boat and take me over to Japan, and I'll just kind of hang out with Max for a while. So Max Mora, if there's a global event here in Korea, I'm going to be taking a fishing boat over to see you. So, keep the lights on for me. Pairing. What do we eat with our whiskey? It depends. It's something you just kind of have to get used to. You kind of have to try and see. For me, what I've found is that if I'm drinking bourbon, because bourbon tends to be a little heavier and oilier than Scotch. Well, most Scotches. We'll get into the other ones later. But yeah, like with a bourbon, I would tend to eat like dried meats, like salami or pepperoni or hamon or something like that. It's kind of the dried meats, the dried oily meats. They just seem to pair so well together. So some of the heavier cheeses, like a Gouda or something like that. You don't want to go like with a blue cheese or a Gorgonzola or something, because then it would just funk up the whiskey, I think. But yeah, like the heavier, darker cheeses. When I say darker, I mean darker flavored things. And meats. Meats are always good. Although red wine, it goes crazily well with a good steak. Have a good bourbon next time you have a steak. That pairs really well too. With Irish whiskeys like Bushmills or Jameson or Redbreast, they tend to me to taste a little more butterscotchy. So I like to eat like cookies and things, like vanilla wafers, just like some light sugar cookies. So like sweets like that, doughy sweets. shortbread. Yeah. Things like that, I think, go better with an Irish whiskey. Everything except Islay Scotch. Islay. Well, let's do Islay first. Islay is one of the regions of in Scotland, the Scotch making region. They tend to be really oily, really dark, really heavy, and really, really peaty. Steaks, grilled meat. They just taste like a campfire. They smell like iodine. They smell like hospitals. They smell like old people, Band-Aids, kerosene, burnt meat. So good. Just, yeah. For me, Islays go so well with like a nice grilled or char cooked piece of hamburger, chicken, whatever. So yeah, that's where I would go. If I had an Islay Scotch, I would want some sort of meat, some sort of like, it's like charred, bloody meat. Sorry for all you veggies out there. The rest of the Scotland, like shortbread goes great. Fruit, especially like Highlands, like Glenmorangie and some of the Highland Scotches. Fruit goes so well because they have a lot of these light, higher fruity notes. Yeah, tart fruits go great with like Highland Scotches from the Highland regions. Singleton, Glenmorangie, just great. Fruit goes so well with them, and raisins. I was eating dill pickles with Gentleman Jack the other day. I'll confess, I have never done this pickle thing. It just sounded so revolting to me because I love pickles and I love whiskey, but just the idea of them together kind of freaks me out. But I do have dill pickles and I do have cheap whiskey. So somebody tell me how I'm supposed to do this pickle thing. A bite of pickles, or in a shot of whiskey, or a shot of whiskey with the pickle. I mean, what is the best way to do this whiskey and pickle thing? I taught some of you something. Now some of you teach me something. What are you doing, Daggy? All right. All right. Come on. So someone tell me how I'm supposed to do this pickle thing, because it frankly confuses me. My plum trees produce a sweet and tart fruit, turn dark pink as they ripen further. Oh, that sounds great, Susie. Okay, well, see, here we have Alpha Snork saying I was eating pickles with Gentleman Jack all day. And here, where did he go? Was it you, Susie? Yeah, no. Wild Exploit says, I think it's a pickle juice chaser. Steph, what do I want? Of course, I want to learn something from you. What do I want to learn from you? Tell me what I don't want to learn, and I'll learn it. Give me your advice. All right, whatever Steph says, that's what I'm going to go with, just because you said that. Yeah, I know the pickleback thing, a swig of whiskey and a swig of pickle juice, but we have people that are saying eat the pickles too. So I'm just kind of wondering what the best way of doing this is. If not, we'll just we'll do it that way. And I'll do this here on the air. Well, is air, whatever you want. I'll do it here on my stream. I'll throw up some Richard Paterson video, and then I'll go grab some cheap whiskey and then a dill pickle, one of my bottles of dill pickles, but somebody's got to tell me what to do. Let's take a quick 30-second or 1 minute poll. Let's see. Whiskey pickle, we'll call it. Whiskey pickle. It's a shot of whiskey and shot of pickle juice. Shot of whiskey and pickle juice, and then pickle juice. I'm running out of room here. We'll spell juice J-U-C. Or do we do eat pickle, then whiskey? Or the other option, whiskey, then pickle. Whiskey, then eat pickle. All right. The poll is up. The whiskey pickle, is it a shot of whiskey and then pickle juice, eat a pickle, then whiskey, or whiskey, then eat a pickle? What's the best way to have the whiskey and pickle experience? Okay, Steph is saying pickleback. That's the shot of whiskey and then a shot of pickle juice. Okay, Susie Lee, pickle juice. Mortimer Duke says eat, pickle, pray. Okay. Oh, now Steph has changed. Okay, never mind. Okay, I thought you were saying whiskey, then pickle. But you said whiskey, then pickle juice. Always shot first. Okay. Well, see, now we've got the pickleback is 27%, and then a shot of whiskey, and then eat a pickle. I guess for science, we could probably do all three. But Steph had too much salt. Everybody's same as Steph. Well, Steph was adamant. Steph had exclamation marks after her pickleback, so she was serious about that. So, all right, we will do this for science. For science, we will do all three, and then I'll tell you which one I think is the best. Which is going to require me to bring up a video. Let me grab a quick Richard Paterson video. I almost said Robert Pattinson again. Let's bring up another Robert Patterson. I did it again. Richard Paterson video. Steph, I'm listening to you, of course, because you have exclamation marks after, and you scare me. Let's see, YouTube. Richard Paterson. Yeah, well, a little bit on the lengthy side, but we'll watch him. We'll watch part one of him talking to this fine young whiskey lady here. Right. And I will go get cheap whiskey and pickles and shot glasses, and we will see what happens. Let's bring this up, and then I will be right back. Who thought I would have needed like a Nick Rekieta going to get whiskey and pickles theme song while I'm gone? Share. All right. I will be right back.
You know, that's what it comes. You know, Henry. You know Henry VIII.
Yeah.
Henry VIII. Well, he came on the throne, but what he did, the dissolution of the monasteries between 1536 and 1541, and he made all these monks redundant, and they had to leave their monasteries in England, and already the art of distillation was known to them, so they had nowhere to go, and that's why they came into Scotland. So they helped to bring the art of Scotch whiskey here. So that's why they distilled it in this stuff. You certainly want to see that stuff. No. This is actually the very beginning here. This is what the distillers of the last centuries would have produced. But what you must remember is this is the very beginning. This is when it's not been matured in any casks. You've seen this before?
I've heard a little bit through Charlie.
Okay, so two things you must. Oh no, Charlie. Right. Okay, no offense to you, Charlie. Okay, the things what you must remember, Sue. Two things you must always remember. First thing, if I ever see you holding a glass like this and nosing like this, I'll kill you.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Now the second thing is what you do is in order to tell you something about the whiskey, you pour it in the glass, okay, and you're slowing it on the floor. Okay, because what you want to do is to actually clean out the glass to make sure it's up to the actual quality that you're looking for. So you must hold it in the glass like this. This is 68% alcohol. You swirl around and you say, hello. Then you come up to it and say, how are you? Then you come back up and say, quite well. Thank you very much. So it's like meeting you for the first time. I don't know you. Lovely lady, everything about you, fantastic. But how am I going to get to know you? The only way is to talk to you, communicate. And that's exactly what I'm doing with the whiskey. All right?
Okay.
So when you come up, you go, hello, 68% alcohol hits your nose. All right? So you forget the alcohol and you go back into the middle of it. And you say, how are you? You've got two nostrils. One will be better than the other. That's why you've got to move around to make sure that the time of the day, whether it be in the morning or the afternoon, will tell you more you need to know. But if your eyes start flickering when you're nosing this new spirit, that means you're nosing it too aggressively. In this sample room, I've had 3 women already collapse and faint in front of me over the period of time because they've nosed it too aggressively. You must do it gently. So when you nose it, it immediately tells you something about the spirit. It says to you, hello, I'm in a bad mood. I'm hot. I'm fiery. I'm peppery. I'm aggressive. I want to go to sleep. I've got a bit of cereal note, a bit of orange coming tang there, but I've also got damp leather and I've got baby sick. And I need to go to sleep. I need to sleep for at least 12 long years.
Baby
So when
sick
the
is not a
distillers
flavor I
started
want in my
producing the
whiskey.
They couldn't wait 12 years. They could only wait 12 seconds. That's why they put mint, sugar, thyme into the whiskey. Then they drank it. And within half an hour, they were dead. Because they learned the hard way. They were only distilling it maybe once, not twice. It's only when they distilled it twice did they then purify it. So that's the beginning of it. Okay, that's the beginning of it there. Just to look at it, just to show you. All right. Okay. All right. So what you've got here, there's the beginning of the whiskey. It's not been in the cask. All right. This is very important. This has not been in the cask, so therefore it's not taking any color from the wood. Okay. So because you know, wood maturing the whiskey is what it's all about, nurturing it the same way. Now remember the new spirit. Have you any children?
Yes.
How many children have you got?
Two.
Two. Boys or girls?
Boys.
Boys. How old are they?
14, 17, 21.
17, 21. All right. If you get them, what you need to do is blindfold yourself and then smell them on the hairline. And you should be able to detect the difference between the two. Because when a mother is actually holding her baby, she's actually going to kiss the children on the hairline. And that's where the smell is. It's the same with the spirit here. That's the basic smell that will remain all the way through the malt whiskey. And you'll see it reflected in this here. All right? Okay. Putting it around the wrong way. So this is Dalmore. This is Dalmore, okay? This is 12 years old. This is 70% American white oak. It's been matured, 70% American white oak, 30% sherry wood from Jerez de la Frontera. Okay? Are you with me? So that because the sherry wood is going to nurture it, it's going to soften it down, it's going to give it a softness, a roundness that's been in the cask for at least a finishing period of at least 2 years. So it's going to have an influence. Like your perfume that you're wearing today, it'll have 26 different nuances. It's the same with the whiskey. So once again, you put it in the glass, put it on the floor, okay? And then you make sure you come back to it and smell it again. Hello, how are you? And there you are, quite well. And what you're going to see here, you're going to see an extension. So if you smell this one first and then smell this one here secondly, and what you'll see is the softness coming through, but really notes like orange, citrus, marzipan. These are all connotations reflected in the Dalmore distillery. Okay? Okay. Just have a smell. And remember, do it slowly. Bring it up to your nose, smell it, and pull away. If your eyes go funny, you've got to smell it even very gently. Just make sure you're thinking like that. Right? Pull away. Don't be thinking, all right? So you just come back again. That's it. That's better. And just even slower this time.
Just like the battle of the noses.
Bend and move around it and just search into it. All right. Okay, so this time I want you to block off your memory. I want you to think not of the strength of the whiskey, but the inner warmth, the inner soul of the whiskey when you come up the second time. So what you're going to see is stones. You're going to see cereal, but you're going to see that sort of damp leather, blotting paper, cotton wool, and then you're going to see some baby sick towards the end. Just think of all these things, these connotations. Just the baby sick. You know what a baby sick? Remember on the shoulder all these times ago? Yep. Damp nappies and everything else. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. As I don't want baby sick and damp nappies to be notes in my whiskey, particularly. But I'm back. I've got pickles and I got cheap whiskey. She'll be at the rifle range next week, maybe even throwing stones. We can continue watching that if you want. I don't know if that's something you want to keep doing. It's about 16 minutes long. But all right. Here we are. I have my Yellow Rose Premium American Whiskey. I have my bottle of Nally Baby Dill Pickles. And I've got my big titted American shot glass. I've never done this before. I've ridiculed and mocked people who have done it. So now I'm going to do it. All right. So the results of the poll were 27% said shot of whiskey and then pickle juice. 23% said eat pickle, then whiskey. And 48% said whiskey, then eat pickle. We'll do this all three ways for science. All right, we're going to do this. So the Russian Zakuski way to drink. Inhale first before, take the shot, do not exhale, take a bite of pickle. That takes the bite out of the shot. Okay, well, there's 4 ways. We're not going to try all 4 ways. I'll try to incorporate we'll do it the Max Mora way with the whiskey, then eat pickle thing. All right, well, we may have to do it all 4 ways. Fuck it, I don't care. All right, so just a second here. Let me drink the whiskey in this one. Let me rinse it out. Not going to throw it on the floor. I'm just going to drink it. Whiskey flavored water, my favorite. All right. So we will put some water in there. Pour what? My hand's shaking. I'm afraid. Pour 1 ounce of whiskey in there. All right. Well, because Steph was yelling and using exclamation marks, I'm pretty sure the Pickleback is the real correct way of doing it. But oh God, seriously, oh, it's so green. Cole Roberts says, I take every shot this way now. All right, got to get the stash ready here. Now, seriously, if this is like one of these college pranks, like where everybody is in on it except for the rube that's doing it, I will delete all of you. I know it's gonna be like, ha ha. Now he's one of us. He's one of the group that fell for this. Ha ha ha. Wow. All right, it's a thing. Shot of whiskey, then pickle juice. Here we go. I can't do this. Oh God, I can't do this. Steph says, take it like the man you are. I'm a man, so I don't want to do this. All right. Fuck it. Fuck is that? Holy God. That just tasted like pure salt. Ah. Wow, yes, I do regret drinking that, D-Way. I absolutely do. Oh God. What that did is it... Oh God. No. I have hair on my chest already. You just can't see it because I wear a shirt. I don't need more hair on my chest. Oh God. People, you seriously do this because you enjoy it? Really? Oh, that wasn't good. Gives you like the piss shivers. Oh, yeah, that just tasted like salt. It did cut the alcohol out of the whiskey instantly. The whiskey, just all flavor of whiskey just went out the window instantly, and then it kind of went really cold because the pickle juice is cold, and then it was just like I ate a mouthful of salt. There was no vinegariness. It was just whiskey, cold water, salt in that order. Holy crap. Cole says, breathe in, take the shots, then exhale. Oh, so they should be in my mouth. Both should be in my mouth at the same time. See, I need to be walked through this redneck shit going on here. There are tons of salt in pickle brine. Yes, there is. I make pickles. Oof. Okay. All right, Cole, step by step through this thing. That's kind of what I did. I breathed. I took the shot of whiskey. I breathed. I took the pickle juice, and then I breathed again. What am I doing wrong? It seemed I didn't know it was so difficult to take a damn shot of whiskey and pickle juice. Yeah, Susan, throw it on the floor. Yeah, that's a. Ooh. Well, it doesn't taste like salt anymore, so that was good. Diamonds and henna. Wind caught the door there. I've only seen ugly white girls in the pickleback at bars. I know some very, very beautiful women that have done pickleback things. I don't get it. Okay, here's the official instructions from Cole Roberts. Breathe in, yes. Swallow one shot, next shot, breathe out. Okay, that's kind of what Max Mora was saying. That's what Max was saying, is that he was saying eat the pickle and then breathe out. So that's I promised to do all three of these. So this one I can get behind. This is eat a pickle and take a shot of whiskey. I can do that without a problem. Dude, that was bad. Holy crap. Tarkina Meyer says, where's the option for none of the above? Yeah, that's kind of what I think my option is going to be if the last two experiences are anything like that. Just the pickleback thing. Ugh, good Lord. And I just dropped the damn pickle back into the jar. God damn it. So, and it's like, I'm getting down to the end of the jar of pickles. So it's kind of like spear fishing when you're trying to get that one pickle that's just like floating around in the water. Oh, Steph, I was not overreacting. That was horrific. That was really, really bad. All right. Pickle. ASMR. Okay. Oh, that was interesting. Oh. That actually wasn't bad. That was different. Okay. What happened there? Of course, the pickle's good. I love pickles. Dill pickles are just the bomb. I go through like a bottle of these pickles like a week. I just love pickles. I make my own fresh pickles. Anyway, I like pickles. So there was obviously the pickle flavor going in. And then I took the shot of whiskey and there was no alcohol taste whatsoever in that whiskey. And that's what happened when I did the shot and then the shot. The second it hit the pickle juice hit my palate, it cut the whiskey out. And it did the same thing here. So yeah, eating the pickle and then taking the shot of whiskey, there was absolutely no alcohol taste whatsoever. And then it tasted like a cinnamon roll, like a big cinnamon bun. It's like you dough and brown sugar and cinnamon. That was actually good. Okay, so eat pickle then whiskey is definitely a thing that I can see doing. I like that. The shot of whiskey and the shot of pickle juice, that sucks ass. That shit ain't ever happening again. That was horrifically bad. The eating the pickle and then whiskey, that was actually pretty darn good. Wow. Okay. All right. This was with the cheaper whiskey. This is the cheapest whiskey I've got, the Yellow Rose Premium American Whiskey. Now we're going to do the whiskey and then eat pickle. We're going to do this in 2 stages. One, a little, like we'll do like half a shot of whiskey and half a pickle, just to save my liver. And then we'll do half an ounce of whiskey and then drop the pickle into the mouth with the whiskey. So, all right, we'll do all 4 of these things here. Come here, little pickle. There you stab. All right. So, half a shot of whiskey. Oh. Wow. Hit the microphone with that's a nice little tone. Everybody meditate. Yep, hit the mic stand with the glass. All right. Half the whiskey, half a pickle. Cheap whiskey. Nothing. That's just like having a glass of whiskey and eating a pickle. Yeah, that was a big nothing burger there. All right. Now we'll do it with the pickle in the mouth. Y'all know what I mean. No. No. Yeah. Hello, Steph. Divinity says, hi, my love. Well, hi, my love, Steph. Hi, my love, Divinity. Hi, my love, all of my mods. Alan, everybody. Hi, y'all. And Divinity, hi for you too. Oh, God, no. All right. We're going to rank these in order from best to worst. Best, hands down, was eat a pickle and then whiskey. That was actually good. I can see me doing that. That was not bad. Like I said, he had the good pickle flavor, and then it just removed the alcohol straight away, and it made the whiskey taste like a cinnamon roll. That was really good. Number two was the whiskey, then eat pickle. And that didn't do anything. That was just like, okay, I took a shot of whiskey and then I ate a pickle. Neutral. It tasted like whiskey, tasted like pickle, tasted like whiskey out, pickle after whiskey. That would be my second favorite. My third favorite was the Pickleback, the shot of pickle juice the shot of whiskey followed by a shot of pickle juice. That was really, really bad. I mean, that was bad. As I said, the pickle juice cut the alcohol straight out of the whiskey, and it just made me feel like I had a mouthful of salt. That was bad. But coming in at the end of the day, the worst of all was that take a shot of whiskey and then add the pickle and chew it up and swallow. That was the worst. That was like a crunchy pickleback. that was like a chunky pickleback is what that was. Steph can no longer talk to me. No, it's not my thing. Wow. I like to eat a pickle and then have some whiskey. That was good. But yeah. The pickleback and then the pickleback with the pickles in the mouth. I'm kind of there with you, MG Law. Yeah. Me? I'm such a great guy. Oh, I try. I try. I hope you're talking about me. If not, that's kind of got awkward really quick there. Just a few comments that I tagged along. By the way, all Scotch are aged in used Jack Daniels barrels. You got the actually not entirely correct. A lot of it is. A lot of Scotch is aged in bourbon barrels, but they have a lot of them are aged in wine barrels and things like that. And the bourbon barrels not all come from Jack Daniels, but for example, if you look at Glenmorangie, interestingly enough, Glenmorangie, the parent company for Glenmorangie actually owns a section of oak forest in Missouri, I believe, and they make it's like their section of forest land that they manage, they grow, they replant, and they harvest from their plots of land, and they make the barrels. The Glenmorangie company makes the barrels, and they give them to Jack Daniels to use. And then after Jack Daniels is done with them, they send the used barrels back to Glenmorangie in Scotland. So yeah, that's an interesting bit of supply chain news there. So that the Glenmorangie company owns this section of forest, and like I said, I believe it's Missouri. They make the barrels. They lease the barrels to Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels uses the barrels, and then after they've been used, they send them off to Scotland. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, not all Scotch is aged in Jack Daniels barrels, but a good chunk of it is. I mean, 80% of I think that I know I'm pulling that figure out of my ass, but I think it's somewhere around 80% of Scotch whiskey is aged in American bourbon barrels. Not from Jack Daniels, but from other bourbon distilleries as well. So interesting fact. Tarkina Meyer, thank you so much. Dark chocolate, oranges, and maple bacon go great with whiskey. My desert island whiskey, that if I could only have one bottle of whiskey for the rest of my life, and I had to drink it my entire life, would be this one right. Fuck it. I hate these reverse cameras. Right there. That is my Glenmorangie Signet. That's my desert island whiskey. The Glenmorangie Signet tastes like chocolate. It's just chocolate, mocha, orange. I mean, the dark chocolate and oranges go so well with that Glenmorangie Signet that it's insane. Any Glenmorangie is a great sound whiskey, and eat fruits with it. Apricots, peaches, oranges, things like that. The soft tree fruits. So good. And chocolate goes great with most whiskeys, actually. I don't know why. There's probably a chemical reason for it. Wow, that pickle still tastes bad. And maple bacon goes very well with these Islay Scotches back there behind me, the Ardbegs and the Taliskers and things. Yeah, dark chocolate and oranges. Always do dark chocolate and oranges when you're having whiskey. You can never go wrong with that. Thank you so much for that big reminder there. Marloka, thank you so much for the party super sticker. Deeply appreciated. And Takeda Meyer again, we did a Scotch tasting and paired different foods with Scotches. Peanut chicken satay was great too. Okay, cool. Never thought of that. All right. Cole Roberts, how did you get into maritime law? Advice for a 3L. Wow. How did I get into maritime law? Well, I either wanted to be a public defender in Utah, or because I had already lived 1, 2, 3, a little over 4 years in Korea, I thought international law. So I either wanted to do public defender work back home or international law in Korea, because I came here in 1988. September 21st will be my 34th anniversary in Korea. I did law school in America, but other than that, I've been here. And so I was looking at both places, and January of my 3L year, I'd clerked for this firm here in Korea between my 2L and 3L year. They said they didn't need anybody full time, but thanks for the summer. I said, okay, cool. Then they called me back in January and said, do you want to work for us? And I said, okay. And they're kind of a maritime law firm. So that's no big dramatic story how I got into maritime law, just clerked for a firm that dealt with it. And then they hired me. And here I am all these years later. So yeah, not a dramatic story. Maritime law is a very, very, very niche field. There's not many maritime lawyers in the world. And I don't want to say everybody knows everybody else, but you're probably only about 2 degrees of separation away from any other maritime lawyer, because you know somebody who knows somebody. But if it's something you're interested in, just you go search for maritime law firms or firms that deal with maritime matters, have maritime divisions, whatever, and start cold calling, I guess. Yeah, I just kind of fell into this one. So I hope that was responsive. It probably wasn't the answer you wanted, but Max Mura, thank you for the yen, bud. Hint, it's the salt. Also probably KCAMG. Oh God, do I have to break out my table of elements here? Natrium, chlorine, yeah, salt. The sodium, the chlorine, and K. Kryptonite in California, and Mogan David, Mad Dog. God damn it. I haven't looked at a table of elements in God knows how long, scientist Max. You're not making me look good here. Spell it out for my dumbass. Potassium. Yes. Okay. Potassium is K. Absolutely. Right. Calcium. Yep. And magnesium. Yes. Okay. That was my guess. I didn't want to actually say it because I didn't want to sound like a dumbass. So I that's right. Magnesium. All right. Yeah. Potassium is K. Special K. Yeah. All right. Got it. Yeah. Need more MSG. Emotional damage. Yeah. All right. So this is why we have magnesium law here to tell us what's going on. All right. Well, shoot. This was just a ridiculous, fun little stream I wanted to do here today. Yeah, it's not gonna turn into a drunk stream because that wasn't the purpose. It was just to kind of spend a couple of hours here relaxing and chilling and just talking about whiskey. One of the things that I like, that I enjoy in life. Just wanted to share that with you and just kind of have a good little conversation. And then you got me into this weird pickle shit. So yeah, Max Murrah is explaining more here. So sample salt with your liquor, and that will probably take out the sting in a similar fashion to pickle juice, etc. Probably correct, and it won't taste like pickles. I love pickles, but not my whiskey, apparently. I'm still trying to get that salty pickle taste out of my mouth. Wow. All right. Yeah, there's the results of the whiskey pickle. Whiskey, then eat pickle. Don't do that. Shot of whiskey and then pickle juice. Definitely don't do that. Eat pickle, then whiskey. And that's don't do that. That's the one you don't want to do. You want to drink the whiskey and then eat the pickle. That was pretty good. I can do that. So, all right. Yeah. I'll call it like a semi pickleback. Well, let's call it a semi. How about that? Does that work? Can you just call it a semi? The semi pickle. That's a thing, isn't it? Anyway, no, yeah, I did enjoy that. I did enjoy doing the drink of whiskey and then eating the pickle. I did like that. That was a pickleback, and then the crunchy pickleback. Not so much. Mad love for you too, Steph. Good on a dare. If you're daring someone, I still feel like I'm like one of the, you're like, haha, now he's one of us because he's in on the joke now. But again, I mean, that is that's the only rule of whiskey. The way you like to drink it, whatever you like to drink, the way you like to drink it. I'm not ready. Steph, you're trying to get rid of me too fast here. Unless you're leaving, I'm going to be here for just a few more minutes. Not much longer. Pretty sure Jeff said that backwards. Eat pickle, then whiskey was the second one. Yeah, they eat pickle, then whiskey. Yeah, that wasn't a good. That was just like, okay. The shot of whiskey and then eating the pickle was actually good. Have you ever had peanut butter whiskey? God, no. No. I mean, I would try it just to say I tried it, but thank God it hasn't found its way here to Korea yet. Yeah, it's a thing. Vicky T's live. No, there is peanut butter whiskey, and it's Screwball. That's what it is. Thank God it hasn't made its way here yet to Korea. I can't imagine. But I would try it if someone else bought it. I would try it. It's better than it sounds. It can't be worse than it sounds. Dan Clifton. Milk of magnesia. Are we back talking about chemicals? Or are we talking about a new type of whiskey? We should make like a milk of magnesia whiskey. I don't know what that shot. Well, what would we put in a milk of magnesia shot? Vicky T says, I know, but I was expecting that response from you. It isn't thick. That is peanut butter tequila. Ew, and it's thick. Now, I love peanut butter, but oh God. Oh, Yoda's dreaming and kicking me with his feet. Oh, he's running in his sleep. How cute. Are you running, Yoda? Are you chasing something? You never chase anything in real life, you big fat lump. Oh, it's kind of cute. He's like kicking his feet there on the ground. He's chasing something, which he never does in real life. Well, what do we got coming up? Tonight, I'll be back. 1, 2, 3. I can't even remember what time my next stream is scheduled for. Let me check that. I believe it's 10 p.m. Eastern. That's my recollection. Or maybe I think it's 9 p.m. because I want to go to sleep early. Checking when my next stream is here. Checking my content. It is scheduled for. I clicked the wrong button. How awesome am I? All right, there we go. God damn it. That's the video I'm doing right now. I don't need to look at myself, talking to you. There we are. Upcoming Monday, Maritime Monday kicks off in, I believe, 8 hours from now. In 7 hours. 7 hours. It can't be 6. No, yep, 9 p.m. So 8 hours from now. 8 hours from now will be my next stream. That will be my normal Maritime Monday stream. We will be talking about the terrible accident, the Steamboat Sultana. The Steamboat Sultana accident is one of the most horrific accidents in American history. So yeah, we'll be talking about that 7 hours from now. And I'm going to be using the rest of the afternoon to plan the week. All I know is you don't want to miss Wednesday. Wednesday night is going to be fun. We're going to be talking about some Australian criminals who became folk heroes. We're going to be talking about one of my heroes, Chopper Reed, and Ned Kelly. For those of you that know the Killdozer story, Ned Kelly, like in the 1800s, was like a human killdozer. Dude was like robbing banks wearing giant pieces of metal, like an Iron Man suit strapped to his body. We'll be talking about Ned Kelly, and we'll be talking, like I said, one of my heroes is Chopper Reed. We'll be talking about Chopper was a bad guy. He hurt lots of people, admitted to killing 4 people, but he was kind of like the Robin Hood. He would only go after drug dealers, the bad guys. He was kind of like Dexter, I guess. He was like a real Dexter, but and he was a brutal man. But you gotta love Chopper Reed. So we'll be talking Chopper Reed, and I'll have at this point the Law Patrol Hayden on, and Meme Copium will be my two guests for that night. We'll have Meme Copium and Law Patrol on to talk about Chopper Reed and Ned Kelly. Friday with Farron, I hope so. We couldn't do it this week because Farron was off visiting folks elsewhere. So we had to take a rain check this week. Next Friday, I hope to do it unless Farron's got something going. So Wednesday and Friday are set. Just have to figure out what to do on Tuesday and Thursday. One of the days will probably be O.J. Simpson. Probably Thursday will be the O.J. Simpson video where we'll start the defense videos. And okay, well, let's just plan it right now. Dude, the things I've got, I have 6 different topics that I want to talk about in 5 days. And I hate that. We need to update some legal cases. And so we'll do that probably on Tuesday. We'll update legal cases, specifically the Taylor Shabusiness case, I found out she pronounces it Shaw Business, Taylor Shabusiness. If you don't remember her, she was one that decapitated, chopped off the limbs and the member of her boyfriend in his parents' basement and hid his head and unit in a bucket at the bottom of the stairs covered with a towel for his mother to see, and ran off and then promptly confessed everything to the police while being covered in blood. We'll be talking about her case. Big development happened last week. Well, actually, almost 2 weeks ago now. It's been since I've got to it. And we'll talk about the Nirvana lawsuit that Nirvana won against the little boy who was floating in the swimming pool with his little dingle hanging out. He sued Nirvana and a shit ton of other people for child pornography and sexual shit. We'll talk about that lawsuit. So that's what we'll do. Tonight, Maritime Monday. Tomorrow, case update and Nirvana case. Wednesday, Chopper Reed and Ned Kelly with Meme Copium and the Law Patrol. Thursday, O.J. Simpson. Friday, hopefully will be a Farron Friday doing an unexplained stream. That's what I guess the week will be. Thank you for helping me plan that. Now I've got to write it down really quickly before I forget. Thank you so much to everybody that was here. Rose, Alan, Steph, mods, you are all just freaking amazing. I love all of you. And this is just a chill stream today. Just wanted to hang out and say howdy. And you can join the memberships. We have 3 levels of memberships. The mid-level member is basically the same, but I'm going to try to do maybe next weekend a members only stream, which will be for the mid-tier members, all 4 of you or however many there are, just to say hi and appreciation. So if you want to join the memberships, join the memberships. On the way out, please hit the like button. What are we at here? We got 198 likes. That's not too bad. I'm actually kind of surprised by that. So hit the like button on your way out. It was fun. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. I would appreciate it. And if you have already subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed. And come back later, make a comment, let them know that you're engaged with my stream, and that'll get us bumped. We're growing pretty quickly. And of course, it was big thanks to Nick and Joe for that. They helped me out quite a bit with the numbers in the past few days, and I hope some of you are here. But tomorrow we'll get back to the legal side of legal vices. Well, not tomorrow, tonight. We did the vices side of legal vices this morning, Korea time, and tomorrow morning, America time, we'll be doing the legal side of legal vices. So come and join for that. Like, subscribe, notifications, join the memberships if you want. Thank you so much for all of the generous super chats that came in today. Thank you for your comments. We'll do this again if it's something you're interested in. I had fun doing it. And I hope you all have an amazing day/night. And I will see you all, I hope, about 6 hours and 45 minutes from now. Y'all take care and have a great whatever it is you're doing. Love y'all. See you soon. Bye now. Don't forget to enjoy those legal. Oh, wait a minute. Ooh, Diamonds and Henna, are you still here? Holy crap. You just came in just under the wire. I just noticed that. Phew. Sorry about that. I always hate if I miss these things. When is the Widow Jane aged in applewood tasting? I don't have a bottle of it now, but I'll need to get a bottle of it. I just have the regular, just the regular bourbon, Widow Jane, just bourbon thing. I don't have the aged in apple whiskey. I will have to get it. Oh, and I said that was the last the last drunk stream I did, the Fuck It Friday stream, I said the next Fuck It Friday stream, I would get a bottle that was 25% of whatever my revenue was from that stream. After YouTube took we can check the number right now, as a matter of fact. When was that? It was the 2nd or the 3rd. The Fuck It Friday was the Friday the 2nd for me. Let's see. Where's me analytics? That day, Friday the 2nd, was $883. So at least a $220 bottle of whiskey will be consumed on the next Fuck It Friday. And if you've watched all of this last 2 hours, you know that me having to do shots of a high quality top shelf whiskey will hurt me more than doing shots of cheap whiskey. So that's, I think we'll kind of continue doing that as a theme. 25% of whatever revenue comes in on that day, I will spend on a bottle of whiskey. And that will be for the next Fuck It Friday stream. So I'll go hunting for something that's at least $220. That is gonna. I don't want to do shots of that. That'll crush me. But all right. When is the Widow Jane? Maybe I don't think Widow Jane is that expensive here. Whiskey. Well, Korea has about 162% whiskey tax. A bottle of Jack Daniels is about $50 here. That's how expensive things are. Yeah. So I'll look for something. But yeah, Widow Jane aged in applewood is really, really, really good. So I'm just gonna get a bottle and we'll just do that. So that's pretty sweet. Thank you for reminding me of that, Diamonds and Henna. That's exactly right. Next time will be a top shelf Fuck It Friday. And I know Hayden said he did like 3 billion shots or something the other day. I'm going to have to talk to him about that because I don't think you could actually survive 35 shots. That's like almost a bottle and a half of whiskey. I'll have to talk to him about that, see what he was doing. But anyway, let me go back and repeat. Thank you so much for that final super chat of the day. I'm sorry I almost missed it, but I caught it just as I was walking out the door. Like, subscribe, share, recommend, tell your friends about me. Come join the memberships. Come back in 6 hours and 43 minutes for Maritime Monday. Mods, love y'all. Talking to you. Chat, love you guys. You're the best. And on that note, please, for the next 6 hours and 42 minutes, enjoy your legal vices. Bye now.